Hello, my name is HQ of HQ Reacts. Welcome to my channel. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, share the stream, and click the notification button for new content.
Hello, everybody. This warm Saturday evening, the 15th. Still on the rolling heels of the Epstein files Epstein emails being released and dealing with the Epstein fallout or Donald Trump's fallout. Y'all see the thumbnail, right? It's amazing. It's amazing that just 2 weeks ago, Marjorie Taylor-Greene was a darling of the MAGA sphere. But you can still tell that these people are enthralled. Hello. Sure. I'll get off the plantation as soon as you get off the plantation. Soon as you ain't no zombie no more, I get off of it. But it's amazing. 2 weeks ago, Marjorie Taylor-Greene was the darling of the Republican Party. She told the line. She did everything she wanted. She was a starter. She was a follower. She was a loyal soldier, right? A loyal soldier. And a loyal soldier gets thrown by the wayside. That's the party that is in charge. Here's the problem. There's no pushback on the right. That's the problem that we have. That's the problem that America's having. No pushback on the right. This president is doing X, Y, and Z, and there's no pushback. He said no new wars. America first. Stopped people from getting food stamps. Orchestrated the shutdown. Said he was going to release the Epstein files and balked on that. And we keep running into foreign influences in our country. So now, because of these Epstein files, and these Epstein files are devastating. Let's not be fooled by these goofies out here trying to make excuses for these Epstein files. These Epstein files are tragic, specifically for Donald Trump, because he's named in them. We know he's in them, and we know he's a terrible actor or a terrible character in these Epstein files. Well, see, I knew he was a terrible human being. Has nothing to do with his policy. I knew he was a terrible human being from over the years of knowing Donald Trump and the things that he did. I knew he was a terrible human being. But this is something that most people did not see because they live in an echo chamber. Most of you guys live online. Most of you guys, you work and do all the things inside, but you're constantly online looking at the next X, Y, and Z. And Donald Trump is very good at gaslighting. We got to admit, he's very good at gaslighting. But then again, he had Marjorie Taylor-Greene and most of the Republicans enthralled. Not necessarily enthralled where they believed him, but enthralled as in what he's doing to Marjorie Taylor-Greene, nobody wanted done to them. Now, he broke up with Marjorie Taylor-Greene 2 days ago. He broke up with her 2 days ago. And she has had nonstop death threats ever since. Nonstop death threats ever since. I'm withdrawing my support. She has had death threats ever since. And yet this is the payment she gets for her loyalty. As soon as he says she's no good, now you got the MAGAs in the comments and the MAGAs all over the boards chewing her out, saying she ain't no good. I don't know why we putting her on our good list. She was the best y'all ever had, the best attack dog, the best coming out and saying the touting the line, saying what you wanted to hear, although most of us knew it was lies and it was some kind of googly goop that she was coming out there with. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Sir him. Now she's being attacked because she wants to put America first. I thought that was the agenda from the beginning. Okay, but maybe that wasn't. Let's talk about, it's no wonder Trump calls it the big, beautiful bill. You better stop, sassy. Here's the thing. Let's do the Massie guy. Why he's turning on the Massie guy.
To an end, there's new drama here on Capitol Hill tonight over those newly released emails from Jeffrey Epstein and what they say about Donald Trump. I'm Kaitlan Collins on Capitol Hill, and this is The Source.
I really want to know what they mean by Donald Trump blew Bubba. I really want to know what that means.
The National Security Nerve Center, where officials once monitored the bin Laden raid, was used today as part of a pressure campaign to block the release of the Epstein files in the possession of the Department of Justice. CNN's cameras spotted the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, actually leaving the White House after that meeting between top officials that included her and the FBI director and
See, y'all do understand that she is not, this Pam Bondi is not supposed to be doing the bidding of Donald Trump. Y'all do know that's a thing. That she is compromised herself because she's doing the bidding of the president, right? You do know she's not supposed to be doing the bidding of the president. I mean, I hope most people know that. That right there is a conflict of interest. That right there should make her disqualified for the job. No attorney general is supposed to do the bidding of the president. Their investigations and everything related to it should not have anything to do with what the president asks. The president can ask her to do whatever she wants to do, but it is up to her and her office to determine the validity of prosecuting people. Now, the garbage mess they got Comey in, the garbage mess they got Tisha James in, the garbage mess, those are all vindictive prosecution, Bolton in. All because the president wants to be aggrieved to leave to something. There's a lot of people that are going to prison when this administration is open, when this administration is over. I don't see how they don't see what it is. Specifically, maybe this young lady.
Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. It was the culmination of an ultimately unsuccessful effort to get Boebert and Congresswoman Nancy Mace to change their votes when it came to a discharge petition here on Capitol Hill to release the files that the DOJ has on Jeffrey.
See, though, it was 4 people who got the ball rolling. Four Republicans. They got the ball rolling for this petition to get the Epstein files released. Marjorie Taylor-Greene, Massie, Nance, and the other lady that she just mentioned. I can't remember her name. It was 4 of them. Otherwise, the petition would never have went as far as it went if those 3 had not signed on to it. But they did.
Epstein. The press secretary described it, though, as a show of transparency on their part.
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns? That's a defining factor of transparency.
there should be a law that says if you lie to the American public to their face, you should be fired. There should be a law for that. This young lady should have there should be some kind of punishment for the lies this young lady told from the pulpit. Okay.
Having discussions with members of Congress about various issues. And I'm not going to detail conversations that took place in the Situation Room.
The White House did confirm, CNN's reporting, that meeting was happening inside the Situation Room there. And that meeting happened today, just a couple of hours after we got new insight into the relationship between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. It includes an email that was turned over by Jeffrey Epstein's private estate to Congress, including one from April 2011, where Epstein wrote to Ghislaine Maxwell this: "I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Redacted spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there." Ghislaine Maxwell responded, "I have been thinking about that, ... Now, Democrats on the House Oversight Committee redacted.
See, the thing is, we'll never see those files. That's a fact. We will never see those files simply because that's all the DOJ has to do is put those files under investigation, and they will not be able to be released to the public. See, I see we got people in the chat that still haven't accepted the fact that what Liz, what does the Democrats have to do with Donald Trump being in the files? Well, what do the Democrats have to do with that? No. Anybody want to put in a comment or want their comment read or answered? Put it in the super chat or whatever. You put it in the super chat. Don't spout questions or say goofy shit. Okay.
Did the victim's name there. They said she was a victim of Jeffrey Epstein. That's why her name was not put out. Republicans, though, identified her as Virginia Giuffre. She is one of Jeffrey Epstein's most prominent accusers, who died by suicide in April and wrote in her book about how her father worked as a maintenance worker at Mar-a-Lago and when she was introduced to Donald Trump and described him as friendly. In another email, this time when Trump was in office in 2019 in his first term, Jeffrey Epstein emailed.
Because the reason why they weren't released, Eric, is because they were under investigation. The files were under investigation. That's why they had not been released. Okay. That's why they had not been released. And because Trump, Biden didn't want to appear partisan, and Biden didn't want to have anything to do with putting Donald on trial. He wanted to move past everything. He decided there was no point in him doing anything to release the files. There was two reasons why he never released the files. One, because he didn't want to get caught up in the partisan back and forth between presidents, and two, because most of the time it had been under investigation. Those files have been under investigation, and they're going to put those files back under investigation, so therefore nobody will be able to see those files. There's a law that says if files are under investigation under the DOJ, they cannot be released to anybody. So therefore we won't be able to see those files. This is a perfect thing. This is the perfect segue. This is the reason why Donald Trump called for them to be those files to be released. What he said was, I want all these people investigated in the files. All of these people and all of these things in the file. Once a president calls for a file to be investigated, it gets put under a hold where the files won't be released. As long as they say specifically who's going under investigation, you cannot get information about who's going under investigation anymore. So therefore, the president called for the public investigation of the files. That's why Pam Bondi went to the White House, makes so damn bad, to strategize about what the fuck we gonna say. We know what it's gonna say. There's a law that says you can't get files that are under investigation. So this is how Donald Trump is going to get away with us not seeing those files. But we already know. What those files are. We already know what's in those files. We got a good idea of what's in those files. What's in those files is Donald Trump blowing Bubba and doing other wild shit. According to Epstein, he was the worst. So even with these devastating emails that we saw the past 2 days, there's some shit in them that would put Trump under question. Yet and still, we got goofies in the chat like Eric. We got goofies in the chat like Eric trying to defend pedos. He didn't tell her to release no file. He said investigate. He said investigate.
The author, Michael Wolff, about Donald Trump, saying that he had asked Epstein to resign his membership at Mar-a-Lago. Epstein wrote then and said, Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked.
So how do we explain the fact that he knew about the girls? Donald Trump knew about the girls, which makes him even worse than makes him just right along with Epstein, because you were complicit in getting the girls. You were complicit in the girls getting taken from Mar-a-Lago. You were complicit in hiding what he was doing. All these years, you've been hiding what he's been doing. Sure, I got Trump derangement syndrome. I love it. I love it when you maggots come over here talking about Trump derangement syndrome to explain the fact that your president likes young girls. And this is what we're gonna see on the Republican side. All this is denial. People are going to start saying, "Oh, she's 16. She's not 15. She's not 8. We don't know." Deranged. They're gonna say deranged syndrome. Trump is you got Trump deranged symbol. No, we don't. No, we don't. We can read email. Everybody can read emails. Everybody can read that email. Trump said he asked me to resign. He's saying I never was a member of Mar-a-Lago, so I don't know why he asking me to resign. That's basically what he's saying. Of course, Trump knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop poaching. They asked Ghislaine to say he asked Trump to stop Ghislaine to stop poaching his women off Mar-a-Lago. Plain as day. Trump asked me to resign from Mar-a-Lago. I ain't never been no member. So why is he asking me to drop the file? Why is he asking me to get out of Mar-a-Lago or drop my membership? I ain't never been no member. But he did ask Ghislaine to stop coming there and getting my girls, his girls. Like I said, the Republican Party is going to deflect and try to cover for these people doing this pedo activity.
Lane to stop. That appears to be a reference to Maxwell recruiting employees at Mar-a-Lago, which the president has said he found out about and put a stop to.
He took people that worked for me, and I told him don't do it anymore, and he did it.
See, he said he took people that worked for me, and I told him to stop doing that. Why did he take people that work for you? Why are you telling me that this man didn't ask? What are you taking the girls for? You trying to tell me that Donald Trump didn't know why he was taking the girls? This right here is a confession. That's what y'all don't get. It's a confession already. I told him to stop taking the girls. This is wild. And we got people in the chat trying to defend this.
As a maintenance worker at Mar-a-Lago,
listen to it again. Listen to what Trump said.
To Donald Trump and described him as friendly. In another email, this time when Trump was in office, and
he admits that he knew.
Anymore, and he did it. And I said, "Stay the hell out of here."
Mr. President, did one of those stolen, persons that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah.
He thinks so. He thinks so. You see, they over here caping for the pedos. They over here caping for him. He right there. He admitted. I think so. I think she was one of the girls that he poached. I think she was one of the girls that he took from Mar-a-Lago. Epstein was recruiting girls from Mar-a-Lago.
He stole her.
in another email that was released today,
He didn't say he took her. He said he stole her. Stole as in she was mine and you took her away from me. You stole her. You see the wording that I'm going for? You see the wording that I'm going for? He said he didn't take her. I mean, he didn't just come and get her. He stole her, as in it was mine, and then you came and you took her. Listen to the words. Listen to the
He
words.
took people that worked for me, and I told him don't do it anymore, and he did it. And I said, stay the hell out of here.
Mr. President, did one of those stolen,
Listen to the words.
persons that include Virginia Jeffrey?
I don't know. I think she worked at the spa. I think so. I think that was one of the people. Yeah, he stole her.
He stole her. He stole her. As in the girl was his. Donald Trump stole her. Epstein stole her from me.
In another email that was released today, Epstein wrote about
That's what makes him so. That's what makes it so sick. That we got people in this chat who don't even see that particular part. He stole her. Not came and got her. He stole her from me. Wow.
about a young woman that he claimed he and Donald Trump both dated in the 90s, with Epstein writing about his, quote, 20-year-old girlfriend in 1993, and that Epstein, quote, gave her to Donald.
He gave her. My 20-year-old girlfriend in 19 that after 2 years, I gave her to Donald. He gave. How you going to give another human being to another human being? How you going to give another human being to another human being? These emails are devastating, and this president is right along with it. This is wild. Wild.
Trump's association with Epstein has been long known in public, and he has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing when it comes to the late sex trafficker. But the president and his aides have been waging an intense pressure campaign that ultimately backfired here on Capitol Hill tonight, where that petition to force a vote on the release of the Epstein files now has all of the votes that it needs. The 218th vote came courtesy of the newest member of the House, Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva, who was sworn in today, 50 days after winning her election. Speaker Mike Johnson said tonight that that bill will get its vote here on Capitol Hill next week.
It's a totally pointless exercise. It is completely moot now. We might as well just do it. I mean, they have 218 signatures, that's fine. We'll do it.
The two members of Congress who have been leading the charge on this bill are my sources on the Hill tonight, Republican Congressman Thomas Massie and Democratic Congressman Khanna. And thank you both for being here, obviously, on a huge day for.
Now that Massie, Donald Trump just wrote that Massie, said that Massie, I'm getting rid of Massie. Hold on. Right here. Right here. Hold on. You got so much goofy shit going on. You have so much goofy shit going on in this world. I don't know about these people. These people, they scare me with some of the shit that be going on that people get away with in this stuff. This scares me because this tells me that y'all are morally bankrupt. Most of y'all morally bankrupt, and you don't care about the American people. This what? Lightweight congressman. Okay, wait, hold on. Yep. Here's the next one. Where the hell is this guy? He did her twice. He did her twice. And then what the hell happened to Massie? Withdrawing. Okay, for Marjorie Taylor-Greene, I'm withdrawing that. Marjorie Taylor-Greene, I'm withdrawing that. Okay. Where's the one for Massie? Okay. He should be in here somewhere. Okay. Damn, he did a lot of them for her. Oh, okay, here you go. Did Thomas Massie, sometime referred to as Rand Paul Jr., because of the fact that he always votes against the Republican Party, get married already? Boy, that was quick. No wonder the polls have him in less than 8% chance of winning the election. Anyway, have a great life, Thomas, and question mark. His wife will soon find out she's stuck with a loser. He's angry because Massie is now going to vote to have the files released. And he's salty because of that. And he's a part of the original people that said they were going to release the files. Here he is.
He's calling it totally pointless exercise and completely moot. What do you make of his comments? Do you agree with those?
Well, the White House spent a lot of effort in the midst of a shutdown to stop a totally pointless exercise that's completely mute. And by the way, I got to give credit.
Hold on, I've been to
walk into the White House, the center of power, the free world, really, and to sustain that and to come back out and to be solid, and also to Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor-Greene. There was all the speculation that they might take their names off, and they never did. So it's not a hoax.
You can't come on
it's
the
not
panel?
a moot point. It is a very serious thing. There are 1,000 victims, and there are survivors who have had a press conference with Khanna and I, and that's what we're fighting for, justice for them.
Did y'all talk to them at any point during this, as the White House was making clear they were targeting these members?
I talked to them. I don't want to say which one I had this conversation with, but one of them was told, we can't let Massie have a win. How petty is that? I mean, this is more than about political wins. It's about getting transparency and justice, which, by the way, this administration promised. You have the vice president, J.D. Vance, you have the AG, you have the FBI director. They've all done a 180 on this.
So the White House said to one of these members that they didn't want you to have a win here.
That's correct.
I mean, what does that say to you, Congressman Khanna, as to the White House's motivation here? I mean, I think so many people look at this and say, why is the White House fighting this as hard as they are, and taking Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room, which is incredibly unusual based on my experience covering the White House?
They've really lost their way, because it was really Donald Trump, and more than Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, who in podcast after podcast said, release the Epstein files. And I give credit, of course, to the courage of Marjorie Taylor-Greene, Nancy Mace, and Lauren Boebert. They met with the survivors. It was personal. But I also give credit to Congressman Thomas Massie. I mean, he's got 3 billionaires literally pouring millions of dollars in his race against him to take him out simply because he wants these files released, which the president campaigned on. You know what? The left and right.
And this is what they do. They try to oust people that don't go along with their program. Oust people dangerously. They're getting death threats and everything. But Marjorie Taylor Greene is getting death threats. This guy's getting death threats because he's going against a Republican thing. You go against a Republican machine, and they want to oust you. Want to put you in a bucket that says you get to get threatened. You can't come with the truth. We don't want to hear the truth. We just want to hear the lies. Like I said, whenever the president says there's no place like home, says it 4 times, all these MAGAs believe everything he says. Right now, you cannot hide the fact that your president is doing things that would put him into the light of being a pedo. You just can't. We can't back out of it. We can't stop saying it. We're saying it, and it is what it is, right? And this Massie person is a Republican, and he's one of the original ones who called to have the files released.
Are agreeing on one thing. It's time to get rid of the Epstein class, these rich and powerful people who rig the rules for themselves and ignore forgotten Americans.
So how many Republicans do you think are going to vote for this next week when Speaker Johnson brings it to a vote?
I think there's going to be a deluge of Republicans. The longer this goes on, the more support we gain. And I think the speaker recognized that. And that's why, after months of trying to stop us, he's decided to accelerate the vote, because he knows we're going to get votes, and that's going to carry momentum into the Senate. And that's why it's important to get a big vote in the House for Roe and I on this measure, is because that's where it goes next, is the Senate.
Yeah, so what happens here when it goes, if it passes and it does have that deluge of Republicans? I know you said today you thought 40 to 50 could potentially vote for it. Is that right?
Well, I think the speaker's concluded if you can't stop the parade, you might as well lead it. And so now he's saying, I want to have the vote. I do think that you could get 30, 40, 50 Republicans voting for it, because what are we talking about? We're talking about rich and powerful men who abused young girls and told people in junior high to go recruit others to be raped or abused. That's what we're talking about. And we're saying that these victims want to expose the men who did this to them. Some of these men still have buildings named after them. Some of them still have scholarships named after them. Enough. And so I think when it's actually a vote on the House floor, do you want these files released? Republicans and Democrats are going to vote yes.
So what does it say if that happens and there are that many people who are in the House who vote for it and the Senate doesn't take it up?
Well, you know, we used a discharge petition. This is a parliamentary procedure that's only available in the House. It's only been successful maybe 20 times in the history of our country. Like, we had a 4% probability, if you look at statistics, of getting this to the floor, but we succeeded. In the Senate, They don't have a discharge petition, but they do have other ways. Each senator is almost like their own rules committee over there. And by being dilatory or accelerating the process for other senators, they can cajole them into getting votes. And I think we could see a vote on this in the Senate.
Why do you think the president keeps calling it a hoax, as he did again today? And he basically said no real.
He's saying it's a hoax because he knows he got some goofies that'll believe the hoax stuff. Like Wet Love. We got goofies like that who believe the Trump when Trump says it's a hoax. That's why he's doing it. Because I got goofy people who still believe me. That's at 30%. Them goofies who still believe me. Who believe I'm not lying. I'm this honest stand-up guy. Even though all the evidence to the contrary, goofy people like Wet Love. Yes, he did. He ran on releasing them. He said he will. All the people in his cabinet kept saying, J.D. Vance, all of them. Cass Patel, Pam Bondino, Lioness Bambino, and that goofy Kaylee Monahan, whoever be at that podium. Yes, he's going to release him. He's going to release him, of course. Okay. On top of the fact that this is a corrupt president. He's bought and paid for by Israel. He's bought and paid for because of these files, y'all. People have evidence against him in these files. Okay? Y'all, boy.
Republicans.
Stop coming over here caping for these goofy rich people. Rich people who got these exotic tastes for young girls. Stop coming over here caping for people like that, Wet Love. We ain't talking about no Democrats. We talking about your goofy president.
Republicans that aren't stupid or bad would fall for this trap.
It's sad to me because I actually didn't do this to score points against Donald Trump. I know Representative Massie didn't do it for that reason. We did it because we heard the stories of these survivors and we want.
Most of them are going to stop caping for him. If they want to win election, they're going to stop caping for him. It's more than enough people that believe Trump did something. We don't know what he did, but he did something. And we know he's trying to cover for the rich people. So if he don't give a damn about the poor people, and all he care about is protecting his friends, he's going to lose his presidency. And these Republicans going to lose their seats if they cover for him.
Justice.
Don't come in here and attack me, Richard Black. Attack your president who likes young girls. Don't come in here and attack me. Defend your boy. That's what you do. Don't come in here and attack nobody. Ain't nobody attacking everybody's saying the truth with your boy. Don't come in here attacking nobody. Attack your boy. Hold your boy accountable. See, that's what I don't like about you, Republican. You never want to take accountability and push back on your people. You always want to attack. It's always attacking the other person instead of saying, okay, my dude is shitty. My dude needs some correction. Instead of saying that, the first thing y'all out y'all mouth when y'all run into the door is, oh, you're a dumb Republican. Oh, you're a dumb Democrat. Instead of coming in here saying, if those files are correct, I got to stand on something. You don't want to stand on nothing, Richard Black. You just want to be a follower. You want to be a zombie. I mean, no, you don't want to be a zombie. You are a zombie. Specifically, if you come in here defending this mess.
For them, they're going to be out in front of the Capitol again on Tuesday. They were out about 2 months ago. And my guess is they're going to say the same thing. Mr. President, please meet with us. Listen to us. You can actually release these files. And I rather Donald Trump do the right thing, even if he gets a political win, than for us to go on ignoring women who've been abandoned before Trump's presidency. These women have not had justice for decades.
So you're saying it's bigger than Donald Trump?
It's much bigger than Donald Trump.
Because the White House is saying this is something Democrats didn't talk about.
So, Love, are you saying that we don't have Donald Trump with these files dead to right? We don't have him? What exactly are we trying to get him on, Wet Love? Please explain. What are we trying to get him on? I want to know. I want to hear you say it. We want to find out whether your president is a pedo, right? So why are you trying to obstruct people trying to find out if this person is a pedo? Why are you trying to obstruct that? Why are you over here talking about other people, giving other people names, talking about other people instead of saying, yeah, we need to get down to the truth of the files? Why are you over here caping for a president that may have done some pedo behavior? Why is that, Wet Love? Why is that?
When Joe Biden was in office, which we've asked you about before, and said that that's the whole motivating factor here. But you say that that's not the case for you either?
No, and I think Roe can go back and find examples where he talked about these files. I can go back in my social media and show you examples where I talked about these files needing to be released before President Trump was the president. And I don't think it's about Trump. I looked at
also,
those.
So did President Trump, for the record.
Yes,
talked
he did,
about
for the record.
And JD Vance.
Yeah, and members of the cabinet.
I looked at those emails there, and I don't think that implicates Trump any more than he's already been implicated. And I don't think he's trying to protect himself per se. I think he's beyond embarrassment. Look, I was in an oversight committee when we were arguing, should he have paid the prostitute he had an affair with through campaign funds, or should he have used his personal funds? He's beyond embarrassment. That's what these files could present to him. I think there are people who are criminally implicated that aren't Donald Trump, but they may be his friends. And I think that's who he's trying to protect.
So you think he's just trying to cover up for other people?
For other people, and also probably for our own intelligence agencies.
But when you read that email from the 2011 email that Jeffrey Epstein wrote to Ghislaine Maxwell, who is obviously serving her sentence right now, and he says that Trump is the dog that hasn't barked, I wonder what you read into that.
I think he's probably saying that why haven't they asked Trump anything? Why hasn't Trump spoken? But, the reason this cuts right at Trump's message is people knew he wasn't perfect when they elected him. People knew he had a lot of things in his past, but he promised, he said, look, I may not be perfect, but I'm going to take on the corrupt elite. I'm going to take on these people who just pay off politicians and have impunity and are shafting you. And now he's become part of Washington, and people are like, what happened to him? Why has he become part of the swamp that he said he would drain? And so, in my view, what would redeem him after months of dragging this out is to release the files. For the life of me, I don't understand why he just doesn't release the files, and let's have the left and the right come together to say enough with the Epstein class. They need to go.
Yeah, and
I could be wrong, but I look at that email and about dogs barking. It's cryptic. Maybe they suspected he was going to inform on them. I don't know.
Okay, so you're saying there could be other interpretations.
Yeah.
I do want to clarify something, which I'm not sure is I've clarified before, but Stormy Daniels isn't a prostitute. She's a porn star that alleged to have slept with the president at the center of that agreement. But on this front,
by the way, I say both should be legal.
When it comes to that's a conversation for another time. But when it comes to the motivation here and how MAGA voters feel about this. I mean, you speak to these people. You're someone who has been outspoken against the White House, but you don't generally disagree with some of the things that President Trump does or has run on policy-wise. How do you explain to voters why the president is fighting your discharge petition or fighting the release of this documents from the Justice Department?
Well, I vote with my party 91% of the time, and which means I have agreed with the president 91% of the time. But when they're protecting pedophiles, when they are blowing our budget, when they are starting wars overseas, I'm sorry, I can't go along with that. And back home, people agree with me. They understand.
And that's the thing right there. He understands exactly why he feels the way that he feels. People are mad. People are mad because of X, Y, and Z. But he's going along with what his constituents say. His constituents say, I don't want to be bothered with this. I don't want to be paying for this. I don't want to be paying for all of these wars. That's what these people are saying. Don't nobody want to pay for all these wars. Don't nobody want to be bothered with it, period. And this is why the president is breaking up with Republicans. But don't be fooled. These Republicans still believe in the Republican bullshit. They still believe in rich people first, commerce first, job. They don't believe in putting the American people first. They may lie and say they are, but they may seem like a different animal, but they still a fucking snake. It might be a snake that don't have no stripes, but it's still a snake.
Upset about the Obamacare payments, how that's ended up. You seem to be siding with the Democrats on this. At one point, Hakeem Jeffries called Marjorie Taylor-Greene an ally.
Did you find any allies during the shutdown on this question, either healthcare or SNAP benefits or anything that either surprised you or that you've been able to work with on the other side of the aisle?
3 words, Marjorie Taylor-Greene. She's been very clear that this healthcare crisis is not made up, it's real. Republicans have no healthcare plan, and that Democrats are correct in fighting to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits.
So I'm wondering how you feel about this. Are you surprised yourself that you're aligned with the Democrats on some of these issues? And President Trump says you seem to have lost your way. Can you respond to both about you?
Well, first of all, I haven't lost my way. I'm for the American people only. I'm America first, and I make no apologies about that to anyone. And as far as health insurance is concerned, it hurt my own family. Back in 2010, the Democrats passed Obamacare, and in 2014, when it went into effect, my family's health insurance premium went from $800 to over $2,400 a month. And we've seen the health insurance industry prices just go up and up. And now that the ACA tax credits are expiring, which the Democrats did put in place, and they set the expiration date for this year, I see a financial crisis for Americans. And so on this issue, I don't see political party lines. I see simply that the American people have been done wrong. And I want my party to produce a solution and a plan that fixes this mess once and for all. And so that is what I've been urging here in Washington. And I really hope to see Republicans and Democrats both work together to come up with a very good solution with health care for the American people.
Okay, Marjorie Taylor-Greene, I am now being contacted by private security firms with warnings to my safety as to hotbed of threats against me are being made, fueled, and staged and egged on by the most powerful man in the world. She mad as hell because Donald Trump did this. Donald Trump broke up with her. Says she got to get the hell on. Donald Trump says she got to get the hell on. I am withdrawing my support and endorsement of Congressman Marjorie Taylor-Greene of the great state of Georgia over the past few weeks, despite the creating record achievements of our country. See, this is the best gaslighter I have ever met. We're talking about the pedos on this side, Randall, on the side of the Republicans, not on the left side. We're talking about the ones on the right side. Stay focused. Y'all love to say what aboutism. That's all you right-hand people, you MAGAs do. What aboutism? We ain't talking about what aboutism. We talking about what your president is involved in. Complete victory on the shutdown, closed borders, low taxes, no men and women's sports agenda, all this cultural war shit that don't nobody care about. Biggest regulation cuts in history. We didn't get no cuts. We not getting no money. The American people ain't getting no money. Stopping 8 wars. What 8 wars? I'd love to find out what 8 wars. Being respected by every country in the world? No, you're being a laugh stock. You're being a laughing stock. I don't know why you think you're being praised, but you're a laugh stock around the world. Having trillions of dollars invested in U.S., what trillions of dollars? And having created the hottest country anywhere in the world from being a dead country just 12 months ago. I don't understand it. I'd rather have a dead country than have this shit happen every day, all day. It seemed to all begin when I sent her a poll stating that she should not run for governor or senator. She was at 12% and didn't have a chance, unless, of course, she had my endorsement, which she wasn't about to get. She has told many people that she is upset, but that I don't return her phone calls anymore. But 219 Congress, 53 senators, 24 cabinet members, almost 200 countries, and otherwise normal life to lead. I can't find a raving lunatic's, can't take a raving lunatic's call every day. I understand the powerful conservative people are thinking about primarying Marjorie in her district of Georgia, that they are too fed up with her and her antics, and if the right person runs, they will have my complete and unyielding support. That's crazy. She has gone far left, even doing the View with their low IQ Republican hating anchors. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Doing nothing but talking, doing nothing but denigrating people. This is where the hateful language comes from, guys.
Marjorie Taylor-Greene is the gift that keeps on giving. The Democrats owe her a huge thank you, and I hope they're sending her a Christmas card this year. Now, as you know, she has passed a motion to vacate the Speaker of the House. She wants Mike Johnson removed for working with the Democrats and passing the Ukraine funding. Now, if she gets her wish, that could bring about two possibilities. Both would be huge for the Democrats. Now, the first I've talked about, and that is Speaker Hakeem Jeffries. If there is a Democratic speaker in a Republican majority, that would show the American people the Republicans are not serious about governing. The second would be even bigger for the Democrats. There is now a replacement name being floated around to replace Speaker Mike Johnson, and it is none other than Lauren Boebert. Could you imagine Speaker of the House Lauren Boebert and what that would do for the Democratic side in the upcoming election and even the election beyond? If they give us Speaker Boebert, it would do.
Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, that was it. Okay.
Received a letter signed by 27 survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's horrific crimes directed directly at Marjorie Taylor-Greene, standing in support of her as Donald Trump and those around him publicly attack and lambast her. I want you to read this letter with me. Marjorie Taylor-Greene, thank you for standing up against the intimidation, silencing, and abuse that Epstein survivors have endured for decades. When you speak the truth and refuse to bow to threats, you become a survivor by proxy, an ally who carries part of the fight with us. That courage matters. You have our full support. We stand united with you against any attempt to bully, rewrite history, or shut down accountability. We are not here to create more conflict or wars. We are here to end the cycle of abuse, expose the truth, and demand justice no matter who it implicates. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. We will defend you with everything we have, Rep. Green. Feel free to reach out. We're here to help and to talk. Release the files. And then it's 27 signatures. Here are some of them, and then here are the remaining ones. Please help spread the word. As always, this is about the survivors. It's not about the right or the left. It's about the survivors getting justice, accountability, and transparency.
That's correct. That's exactly why. That's exactly why. It has nothing to do with it. And don't let Marjorie Taylor-Greene, don't let her pull you up. Don't let her be on the bullshit. Because Marjorie Taylor-Greene has
Supreme Court
other
just gave
fish
the
to
green
fry.
light to deport immigrants to countries they have never been to. This is now the 11th time that the Supreme Court has sided with Donald Trump in an immigration case. And this time they didn't even give a reason why they sided with him. So here's what's really happening. If you have an order of deportation, the U.S. can ship you to a third country if your country won't take you back. Previously, the law said if your country won't accept you, then you don't get deported because the U.S. can't drop you off in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But now the Supreme Court says the U.S. can drop you off at a third country, Libya, Sudan. Even if you fear torture or death in Libya or Sudan, you go.
That's bogus as hell, even though that's not the damn video I want to play. This is the one I wanted to play. Listen to this about Marjorie Taylor-Greene. Hold on. Hold on. Is muted? Hold on, hold on. Something ain't right. Hold on. Because I thought it was wait a minute. Hold on, let's see if we hear it now. Hold on. Hold on. Can y'all hear?
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things.
I hear it now?
Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration.
The issues of the subsidies are real. It's not something that anybody can say is made up. If you double their health insurance or even triple it, these people they're either gonna have to drop it or they're gonna be choosing between rent and their health insurance. As a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist, I can say we have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that. All I've seen is a revolving door of foreign leaders in the White House. Have regular people's bank accounts been affected? Has the stress come off? No, that has not happened yet. And that needs to be the major focus.
Marjorie Taylor-Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor-Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour ever since. And so all of this stuff that you're like, oh my God, like it is all personally motivated. All of this stuff is personally motivated. There is no signs of revelation that I see up close. This is not a person that is backing up anything of what they're saying with any sort of action, which gives the whole game away. This is a person that is trying to twist the knife on people who frustrated her personal ambition. And until that is the story, and until any one of these little public statements or media statements is actually backed up by a genuine change in policy position, I'm just not going to, and not just a change in policy position, but a commitment to that change. I'm just not going to buy it. I welcome it. I think it's never too late to change. But here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God.
So this is what I'm saying. Don't believe everything that you hear from these Republicans. Don't believe just because they're turning on Donald Trump that they're really over here to help in any way, shape, or form. They're not over here to help. They're not over here trying to do the right thing. They're not over here trying to do X, Y, and Z. They're not trying to do any of those things. They're trying to get into a position because they can see the writing on the wall. If you dumb, you can't see the writing wall. You can't see that the president is going down the tubes. His approval rating is down the tubes. So you got to do what you got to do to get on the right side. So this is what Marjorie Taylor is doing. She's trying to get on the right side. Ain't mad at her. The president told her, hell no, I don't want you running for governor. You gonna lose us a goddamn go. We'll lose a seat in the House and lose a seat on the Senate if we let you in.
Here's my issue, Steve. We have all-time highs of homeless people on our streets. The drug crisis in America is at all-time highs. The mental health crisis in America is at all-time highs. My kids' generation, the 20-year-olds, they can't afford rent. They can't buy a house. They can't afford insurance. They can't afford bills, and they are losing hope for the future in America.
As soon as she gets support from some of the MAGAs, as soon as she gets support wherever she want to get support, she gonna change her mind. She's just doing this because she knows she's out there.
Introducing a bill to completely eliminate the H-1B visa program, which has been riddled with fraud and abuse and has been displacing American workers for decades. There will only be one exemption in my bill, and it will allow for a $10,000 per year cap on visas issued to medical professionals like doctors and nurses who provide life-saving care to Americans. However, even this $10,000 per year cap will be phased out over 10 years to allow us time to build our own pipeline of American doctors and physicians. My bill will also restore the original intent of the visa, for it to be temporary. These visas were intended to fulfill.
What the hell happened? Okay.
Probably never thought you'd see. And that's President Trump attacking Marjorie Taylor-Greene and saying that he's withdrawing his support for her. In a late post on Friday night on Truth Social, the president went on a rant against Marjorie Taylor-Greene after she had been criticizing him lately. And he said that despite all the accomplishments he says he's achieved for the United States since retaking office, he says, quote, "All I see wacky Marjorie do is complain, complain, complain." The president claims that he sent Marjorie Taylor-Greene a poll showing that she shouldn't run for senator or governor in her home state of Georgia, something that has been a big question lately. And he says that ever since then, she has told many people that she is upset that he doesn't return her phone calls anymore. But then he cites all of the people that are in Congress and how busy he is. And he says, in leading an otherwise normal life, I can't take a ranting lunatic's call every day. Here's what MTG had to say. President Trump just attacked me and lied about me. I haven't called him at all, but I did send him these text messages today. Apparently, this is what sent him over the edge, the Epstein files. And of course, he's coming after me hard to make an example to scare all the other Republicans before next week's vote to release the Epstein files. She goes on to say, I have supported President Trump with too much of my precious time, too much of my own money, and fought harder for him even when almost all of the Republicans turned their back and denounced him. But I don't worship or serve Donald Trump. Now, of course, this comes after Marjorie Taylor-Greene has been critical of the White House, saying that they need to stop doing so much focus on foreign policy. They need to focus more on domestic policy, what the president had been running on the campaign trail. And also where she broke with the president, including in interviews with me, saying that despite he says there's virtually no inflation and that grocery prices are down, she's argued the opposite. She's also broken with the White House when it comes to how they've handled the Jeffrey Epstein saga, as that's been playing out as well.
That's the whole thing, y'all. Don't be fooled by these snakes. They know what they're doing. They know good and well. Ain't nobody gonna believe them. We can believe our lying eyes. Most of us know what our eyes have seen, and our eyes are saying shit in those files. Those are not files, emails. Those are the emails. Let's be clear. Those are the emails released from the Epstein estate. Those are not the files. The files are going to be put under investigation so that we won't be able to see the files. But you're going to see a lot of them. You're going to see a lot of Republicans defect. You're going to see a lot of Republicans defect on this vote. A lot of them are going to vote to release the Epstein files, but they should know by now that those files will not be released because Pam Bondi is trying to hurry up and pull those files and have those pulled so you can't get them back. There's a law that says there's several laws. What laws say you can't release files if they are under investigation by the DOJ. Okay, there's laws that say, plain language, you cannot release files under law. The FOIA exemption, that's the big one. This is a law that lets the public request governmental records. We can request those governmental records. Exemption 7 says, if the records are collected for law enforcement, if the records are releasing them would interfere with an active investigation, or then the government can legally refuse to release them. This is the main law the DOJ uses when they say we can't release those files because it would interfere with an ongoing investigation. This is a stunt they're going to pull this week. This is the stunt that they are going to pull this week. I guarantee you. They're going to say they're under active investigation because the president asked for the files. Now, Pam Bondi is going to put them under active investigation, which means nobody's going to be able to see the files. And the only thing they had to release, you notice there was the Democrats released 3 emails. The Republicans released the rest of them because they want to get out in front of, they want to say, look, we released all these emails. We released all these emails, but we need to see the files. And the files have in them video and audio because Epstein taped all of his encounters and he taped all of his guests' encounters. But those tapes we'll never be able to see because they're going to put them on the active. Watch and see. All week long, you're going to hear about Pam Bondi putting the files under active investigation. Watch. And then they won't be able to be released. Friday, when Khanna got sworn in, she signed the petition to have the Epstein files released. Right after that, they released the text messages from the emails from his estate, but they didn't release the email. They didn't release the files. The files were not released at all. It's text messages from, they're emails. They're not the files. They're not the files, dingbat, XQ. They're not the files. Those are the emails. And the emails alone implicate Trump. Trump just implicated himself on that plane. Okay? So don't be distracted by these goofy Republicans. Don't be distracted by the maggots. Don't be distracted by the zombies. Trump is in those files. He's in the files, but we won't be able to see the file. He's in those emails. Those emails were released because we didn't XQ. Do you know the difference between emails and files? Don't you know the difference between emails and files? Goofy. Only emails were released this week. Those weren't the files. Emails are not a file. Okay? That's why they signed a petition to get the files released. These are emails from Epstein's estate. The files have video and audio in them because Epstein recorded all his people. Yeah, they keep saying he's not him. He's not him. Yes, he did. He implicated himself in some of them. He knew him. He was the best friend. He said, I threw him out of Mar-a-Lago in 2009 or something like that. And come to find out, he was having Thanksgiving dinner with Epstein in 2017 or 18. He was having Thanksgiving dinner with him. So he was been friends with him for a while. He just didn't nobody just know. But they were friends. They had been friends. Why would he invite him to Thanksgiving dinner in 2017 and Trump show up for the Thanksgiving dinner in 2017 if they weren't friends? That's wild. But you have people who are going to defend him. You have people who are going to say it ain't him. They're going to have people who say X, Y, and Z. And that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. You do you, and you believe that. But there's going to be a vote on Tuesday, and this is how it's going to go down. Pam Bondi is going to come out and say, or Trump is going to say, the files are under investigation. They cannot be released until the files are done being investigated. This is how they're going to cover. Then it's going to be a vote. And then all of these people are going to vote for it because they want to make sure the goofies like XQ see that they didn't vote, see that they voted, see that they did vote to have the files released. They're going to show goofy XQ that they voted to have the files released. And then that's going to keep goofy XQ on board. And then they're going to think that that's going to float them through until November 2026. Hopefully that is not the case because it's going to be a blue wave to vote their ass out because this is a concentrated effort to keep the files closed. They're all in on it. Maybe the Democrats are not in on it, but the Republicans are definitely in all of it. Definitely in on it. And they don't want those files out because then they got to face the reality. That's why goofy people like XQ in the chat don't want the files specifically released, because there's no definitive proof. There's no definitive proof in those files. There's no smoking gun except Trump blew bubble. I don't know what Trump blowing bubble mean. I don't know what that mean. Trump blew. Did Israel have a tape of Trump blowing bubble? That's one of the emails saying. One of the emails is saying, did the Israelis have a tape of Trump blowing bubble? What does that mean? We don't know what that means, but we do know that Donald Trump is in those files, and we do know that that's the only way to cover up those files is you got a FOIA exemption where that covers, you don't need to show the files. Federal Rule of Criminal Conduct says if the files contain, the grand jury documents cannot be released unless a judge orders it. If the files contain witness statements, subpoenas, evidence to give to a grand jury, it will not be released. Rule 6 blocks that. Privacy laws, personal information, reputation, uncharged individuals, victims, people are being investigated but not arrested. That cannot be released. Ongoing prosecution rules. DOJ has internal rules called the Justice Manual. Policies against revealing information that could affect jury pools, witnesses, or charges. These aren't laws passed by Congress, but binding rules of DOJ employees. We cannot release this because it would compromise the prosecution. So they're going to find a reason, because 5 reasons: FOIA exemption, grand jury rule, privacy protections, DOJ prosecution rules, and the court sealed orders. All of these things are going to be pulled out their ass and say, that's why we can't release the Epstein file. That's why I keep telling y'all, more than likely, we ain't going to see those files. And then you're going to have Republicans rejecting Donald Trump on record, because that's what they do. They put shit on record saying, oh no, I voted no for that bill. I voted yes to release the Epstein file, knowing full well them Epstein files ain't going to be released. But this is how they play us. This is how they play us. And this is how we're not going to see those Epstein files. And don't believe none of those Republicans when they get up there and say, oh, I'm finna vote yes to release the file, knowing full well them files ain't never going to be released. Okay? You all hit the like button, the share button, subscribe button. I appreciate it. We have more content. Might have some at 10 o'clock tonight. We never know. We just popping in to say yeah, X, Y, and Z. Update you guys. This is where we at. We're going to have this week, we're going to have Pam Bondi or the president coming out saying the files are under investigation and they cannot be released. Then you're going to have more than 4 defections from the Republican Party that vote to have the Epstein files released. We're going to have that happen on Tuesday. And then Pam Bondi is going to definitely keep saying it's under investigation and we can't release no files. That's how they're going to get away with it. The point is, are we going to let them get away with it, or are we going to keep calling for them to release the files? Which one is we going to do? I say keep calling, and keep calling for our $2,000 that they owe us, because they owe us $2,000. Okay? Thank goodness the shutdown is over. That's for right. Y'all hit the like button, share button, subscribe button. I'll be back with more content. You know I will. You know I will. This was just a quick in and out for no believing the lying ass Republicans. They know what's going on. They know they can't have the files released unless Pam Bondi and the president say they're going to be released. If they say they ain't going to be released, they ain't going to be released. We never know. I see y'all later. See you in the next one.